to our northern border crisis with former director of special operations at the DEA, Derek Maltz, as well as New York City Sergeant and founder of Blue Lives Matter New York City, Joe Imperatrice. Gentlemen, welcome to you. Happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for being with us today.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
So, Derek, let me start with you. We look at the numbers up here in the northern sector. It's nothing compared to what we've seen at the southern border, which has really been ground zero of Biden's border crisis. But the Swanton sector, which, is New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, they've seen a 550% increase in apprehensions in just the last year there. Why has the northern border been so overlooked?
Well, for one, I just want to say thank you to law enforcement and DOD around the world that are protecting us on Thanksgiving. And I also want to highlight that 300 families today are learning their kids are dying from these deadly drugs. But the reality is, Jen, is that the bad guys take total advantage of vulnerabilities and weaknesses. We have wide open border, southern border. We're sending resources from the north to the south. We don't have a lot of resources on the northern border. It's very porous. And let's never forget that 9/11 hijackers entered America through the northern border. We have so many unknowns in our country right now. The country's becoming, more and more dangerous every day, just like the world. But again, the biggest thing is you can't have soft on crime, and you have corrupt leaders in Mexico that are letting the cartels run the show. And up in Canada, honestly, like the government is a little soft as well. They're letting anybody in their country, and they can come right over the border.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges in patrolling that northern border. We understand the situation at the southern border, but northern border, obviously, colder. Joe, what are Border Patrol agents dealing with up there in navigating that region? Obviously very rural, and a lot of people seeing that as an alternate in terms of getting into this country.
The problem is not having enough manpower to cover the many, many miles that these people are coming in from. They're pulling them off to do administrative duties when we should be locking up and actually putting back into the country they're coming from these individuals. We need leadership to be leadership. We have to allow police officers and all these agents that we have on this border to do their job, to arrest these individuals, to find out if they're terrorists, to see what their backgrounds are, and send them back to where they came from. We cannot allow them to come into our country and have another 9/11 because, unfortunately, in law enforcement, we know that sooner or later, if this continues, it's going to happen.
Yeah, Derek, I am afraid, reporting on this news all the time, when you look at the numbers at the southern border of people apprehended on the terrorist watch list, and then you think about those that didn't get caught, that made it into our country, that God forbid, are planning some kind of attack. I mean, what's it going to take for this administration to take action? It feels like this is all by design. They want everybody to come in here, get into this country illegally. We'll grant you citizenship eventually. Do you think we'll see any action prior to the 2024 election?
Well, I don't see much happening. I know that President Biden was talking a lot again, or reading off his note cards, by the way, regarding fentanyl. But the question to the president is, if you want to do everything you can to prevent these fentanyl deaths, I think it would be a pretty reasonable suggestion to shut down the border, because we have 1.8 million gotaways. We have no idea who they are. We have Chinese nationals, many military-age men, setting up marijuana grow operations all over the country. They have compounds in Maine and other states. We have no idea what they're really doing. It's a good assumption that they're running counterintelligence operations as well. They also are doing all the money laundering for the cartels. This is insanity. And this administration, it's a lot of talk because we're less than 1 year away from the election. So they want to make like they're doing something. But the families have no confidence as far as what this administration is doing to keep the kids from dying. There's many that are waking up today, finding these kids dead in their houses.
Yeah, it is sickening, and they want to tell us that the border is not wide open. We know otherwise. Derek and Joe, appreciate your service in law enforcement. Thanks for joining Newsline on this Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Turkey Day.
Thank you.
Thank you, and God bless.